Recently I found out there's sodium hydroxide in salt, and sodium hydroxide does some cool things, so I want it, and in crystal form. In this video I'll tell you how I made salt into sodium hydroxide crystals with household materials which include glass jar or other jar suitable for temperatures higher than 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The next is a battery with wires and graphite. I suggest using both, but if you only have one that will work fine. The last thing is salt and a way to heat up your product, which a stove will work. Start by adding salt to water. Generally, the more salt, the more crystals, but don't put more salt than can dissolve in the water. The next thing to do is to connect the positive and negative part of the battery into the water, preferably if you have graphite, which you can easily get from pencils. You should attach the wire to the water with these since the wire can dissolve with the sodium hydroxide. If you don't have wire, you could try connecting the graphite straight to the battery, but this will be harder. Make sure to do this step in a space where the gas can escape, because this process produces hydrogen gas, which is highly flammable, and chlorine gas, which is toxic. I suggest doing this outside, but if you can't do this outside, then do it in sections and take breaks from the electrolysis every 15 to 30 minutes so the gas can clear up. A good indicator if you're done this is if the graphite has stopped bubbling, which it's supposed to bubble during this process. This usually takes a few hours. Once you are done the electrolysis, you can move on to evaporating the water out of the mixture. This is where crystals will form. There's two ways of doing this process, and the first is just to leave it out for a while and let it naturally evaporate, but this may take a few days to weeks, so I went with the second option, which was to heat up the solution so it evaporated faster. Be careful since I cracked my jar when doing this because of thermal shock, so I think you should do research on your material and how it reacts to heat. Keep in mind, the crystals start to form during this evaporation process, so where the solution is going to grow the crystals.